It is the Friday night in the magnificent, and I mean magnificent, St. Peter's Tavern. We are with our friends at Erdinger, and I've got with me Chris Walsh, I've got Rob Gutman, and I've got Amelia Bonner. And we're going to start off, Chris, on, it felt like a long international break. It feels like the quiet before. I don't think it's a storm, because storms are inherently bad. I keep trying to sort of work out what a quiet before something brilliant metaphor that I haven't got to hand. Maybe you have.
No,
it's hard.
No.
Before the Lord Mayor's show. You're not after the Lord Mayor's show.
Yeah, but I've never liked the Lord Mayor's show anyway, conceptually, because the Lord Mayor's show always looks shit when it's on the telly.
No.
So, Chris, this is the thing. This has been the quiet. It's been the slow process. What precisely is it that you are expecting now from this run from Liverpool?
So what I would say is storms can be good. You know, sometimes you just get your cagoule on and you go, right, you know, let the elements take
What
you
name
away.
would you give a good storm? This one's called Bert. There's
This
actual
one's
storm
Bert.
incoming, you know.
I don't know. Frankie, Storm Frankie.
That's quite
so,
nice,
yeah, you're a bit sort of Italian, you know. Yeah. So, what am I expecting from this?
Storm Frankie.
From Storm Frankie, I am expecting Liverpool to come out of it looking exactly how they did previously, if not better, to be honest. I'm really excited about what Arne Slot has been doing the past 2 weeks. I'm really excited about the players getting the rest that they need. Someone like Mo Salah, been sitting off at Disneyland for a couple of days.
It's been very nice.
It's been really lovely, you know.
Did you see Alisson with his kids in the
Wasn't he in the
Lake
lakes?
District?
He was in the lakes,
Yeah, it looked like a rambunctious paradise.
Exactly. Phil Blunt of this parish was in the exact same place. Didn't bump into the holy goalie. Probably for the best.
Where was Alisson? Not in Disney.
In the lakes.
Oh, in the lakes.
Yeah,
I was in the lakes last night. Didn't see him.
He's back by then, I think, and he's
then,
training, as we know, Rob.
Because I thought I'd have seen him before.
But he's training.
Yeah, he is training.
Are we excited by that?
I'm excited by that. I think the Keeves is absolutely, you know, I've got no problem with the Keeves in goal for.
I'm actually not excited about Alisson coming back. I want him back. I'm not excited about it because I'm happy enough with what's happening.
Yeah. I think what I wouldn't want is Alisson coming back straight into the Man City game.
Yeah.
I think I'd quite like him to have the Southampton game, or if not the Real Madrid game. Obviously, then you're in a weird situation where it's a little bit like, well, are we going to play Kelleher over Alisson for the Man City game? But I don't know, I think Alisson did it last year when he came back for the City game. He didn't make any mistakes, but it's just a big game to throw somebody in.
Well, the good news is, though, Emilio, the manager talks today at the press conference, and it's so much close, was the thing he kept saying.
Yeah.
So many players being close. And if no one else gets injured between now and whenever close is, then that squad looks in great shape.
I think the nice thing is the idea that we will get stronger over time. I think the only thing is, it was all good news, but just a little bit sooner would have been nice. And a lot of it's better than we thought. Like, a lot of it is sooner than we could have potentially hoped for in terms of when they'll be back. It's just that the time that it's fallen on, this being such a Storm Frankie that we have yet to come, it's that they are coming back and we're close, but it's what form will they be coming back in? And there's no real opportunity to kind of play them into where they need to be, because every single game is very, very important. And I just, that's my only worry, is that they're back, but in what form are they back? And I think Alisson especially might need a little bit more time to kind of get back to where we need him to be, which is why I think the Kelleher question is really valid, because I personally would choose Kelleher for Real Madrid or for City over an Alisson that's building back into full form.
I agree. There should be a metaphor for this. It's like trying to get on the plane while the plane's flying. Something like that, which is a really weird metaphor.
But it's a football metaphor.
It was a
Yes.
Yeah.
Mind you, I think building the plane while flying the plane is a weird metaphor. Getting on the plane while it's flying. I like that, actually.
Or what's this moving on the runway? At least you're doing that jog that
You're
you do
running
action
really
films.
fast.
Like Die Hard.
It's almost holding a little thing
There's
open.
a ladder, you know.
But no, I thought the same was true. I was thinking about Harvey Elliott coming back. Oh, everyone's going, it'd be good to have Harvey back. He's been out as Arne Sled 3 months. So what are you doing? You're dropping him in, apart from like 5-minute cameos, but how many of them is he going to have before he can start? So before you can consider starting Harvey Elliott, it's just that beacon of Southampton, or Girona actually, before Southampton, doesn't it? Yeah.
I think
Yes, it does.
Girona in the League Cup.
In the League Cup.
Yeah,
sorry, yes,
Girona's
yes.
Tuesday the 10th.
Oh yeah, Southampton
Yeah.
this Sunday is the most important game in our history.
Yep.
And there's no way we're taking any chances. We may be resting South American people.
Yeah.
That's a given. Although, did you see some of the training stuff today? Alexis McAllister scores there's an overhead basket in the training room gym at the Axe. Do you see what he did?
With a basket.
Right. I'm describing about it.
You are.
Luis Diaz tees it up for him. He's got his back to a basketball hoop.
And
That's the word.
we're kicking the
Basketball
football.
hoop. With a football, he overhead kicks a football into a basketball hoop that's some considerable
fine,
distance
then,
behind him.
play
He
it.
blind does it. It's quite.
It doesn't do that without jet lag.
No.
No.
Like when you get to the pool after 3 pints.
I thought he's match fit. You can do that. He's sharp as a tack. And Luis Diaz tees him up nicely. And in all seriousness, of those three lads, the jet lag threesome, I think he can only start one in good conscience.
So which one?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think it's
Diaz.
I just think we can't know. I think it's some sort of like the medics look them in the eyes, shine a light.
Núñez plays 45, doesn't he? He comes off at half time against Brazil, I think. But I think also what maybe complicates that a little bit is that I think we've got a situation where Gakpo and Tsimikas work well together, and Diaz and Robertson work really well together, and I feel like they're almost the pairing down the left. So then it becomes a case of over these 3 games, if you depending on which left-hand sided winger you play, that maybe dictates what left back you play as well. So what does he want to do with Tsimikas and Robertson?
What's good though, Chris, to Rob's point there about, and Amelia's point there about the goalkeeper situation, and I feel the same about Bradley, you know, off the back of a nice little international break there. I'm not like, oh God, you've got to get Trent back in. So it's the biggest game of our lives against Southampton. But I'm not like, you've got to get Alisson back in at all costs. You've got to get Trent back in at all costs. Even Madrid, because of where the group is, if you look at least, it's easier to do this with an outfield player. But if you were 60 minutes of Bradley and then 30 minutes of Trent, for that one, you know, but that shows the faith that you've got in these lads who, in other clubs, would be viewed as replacements or massive downgrades.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. I agree with what you say about it'd be great to have everyone back ready to go full pelt. But I think maybe what happened last season, when it kind of starts to fall apart, is that we almost have too many options and we don't know where we're building towards. And I think if you were to throw in an Elliott right now, it'd be like, well, do we give him a go because he's so strong? But I think if we can gradually bring these people through that we know deep down are good enough, but we might need to reintegrate them over the next couple of weeks. I think, as you say, we've got that, because we've got the squad where it is now, we feel comfortable playing the players that are available, and then when the players who start to become available, who aren't currently available, when they start to come back, yes, we have options, but what we've got there is a bit of a run-up into getting people match fit and ready to be where they need to be.
What's hard though, Chris, the next phase of this, though, is often the way you do that and the way we talk about that, I'll go to you first on it, but is you say things like, well, what'll happen is that we'll get a game and we'll get far enough ahead and we'll make a couple of changes. Yeah. But in the Premier League this year, something like 70% of games are still live when the
I hate that.
And we don't play like that.
But also, I think we've embraced that a little bit. You know, I'm not going to say Sunday will be a great one, because you never know. The number of times Liverpool, when they played Man City, have actually been 2 or 3 goals ahead during the match at some point, because the way those games break apart. You never know how that could go. We could just do with it, if you want to talk about this fitness question, somewhere we could just do with a couple of them, if you want to be able to get players 20-30 minutes, and at the minute they're just a luxury and Rob hates it.
No, I completely agree. Being 2-0 up on 60 would be, I think with this Liverpool under Slot as well, I think a 2-0 on 60 is a far more safeguarded position than it would be under Jürgen, for example, potentially, just because of the adaptations that we've seen him do. So I think what would be interesting is that what he's done so far, when we've had those opportunities, it's been less about fitness and more about game management. Yeah. So we see Endo come on, we see players come on,
that's different,
which make it different. What we might start to see, and I don't know, it'll be really interesting to see if Arnie does this, is will Ian Headingley then go, well, you know, Endo's the option there to shut this down at 2-0 on 65, or do we go Szoboszlai for Elliott? And it does naturally give us it doesn't give us much more protection going back. If anything, it might make us a little bit more open, but it gives legs.
There's 2 separate things. There's game state specific opportunistic substitutions, right? But predicating managing your squad being on 2 to 3-0 on 60 is a non-starter, right? It's madness. A manager can't do that.
No.
That's why I almost prefer the way we used to talk about, like sometimes European games. You go, he'll give Virgil 45 in the first half and Konate 45 in the second, or a League Cup. You know what I mean? I kind of think you have to pre-season it a little bit, preordain, or you have to be able to say Salah's off on 60. I don't care whether we're 2-0 down or 2-0 up. He's off on 60. Okay. I just think that's. If you're going to manage the minutes, you sort of have to. I'm not going to say you're not going to have some leeway on that one, but it's a different conversation, and trying to plan around a healthy lead, especially with the quality of fixture we've got coming up.
You've had a ropey couple of weeks on a personal level. You must be excited about the football that is in store, is what I would say, because this is suddenly, you know, it is, and you know, we'll get on to the specifics of what Southampton, the threat they pose in a minute. But this is what we are in it for. 5 points clear at the top. Massive game against Madrid. The whole thing just opens up from this point, and there's no more breaks. It is about as exciting as it's going to get.
Yeah, I think that's, I know obviously we're doing a lot of logistical chat here, but primarily it's very exciting, and you're right, it feels like the longest international break ever. I don't know what it is that's made it feel especially long. Maybe it is the trials and tribulations of real life without any football to kind of try and break that up a little bit, has meant that it's felt long and turgid. Is that the right word? Turgid.
I mean, yours would be more than turgid, something else you're going to say, but go on.
But I think, yeah, looking forward to it being the main thing, them being huge and exciting games, but that not feeling like, I don't know, like nerve-wracking and terrifying going into a fixtures list where you think, oh Christ, where are we going to be at the end of it? Going into it feeling confident and kind of thinking we actually only get stronger throughout it is a really, really nice position to be in.
It's a fantastic position to be in. We are with Erdinger, we are in the marvellous St. Peter's Tavern. We will be back in a second or two with more of this kind of thing, maybe a little bit less logistics.
And Erdinger, please.
Stop! Don't forget the best bit.
Welcome back. We are with Erdinger. I've got Chris Walsh, I've got Amelia Bonner, and I've got Rob Gutman, the man who's brought this together for the second time in St. Peter's Tavern. We are with Erdinger. It's great to be with Erdinger and Chris. Everyone who seems to know lots of things about football talks very warmly of Southampton. The manager today, Arne Slot, does it as well, but they are bottom of the league, and this is the paradox of the team that plays the good stuff, who maybe should not be playing it at this level. And you know, the manager went out of his way to praise them twice today, which I thought was marked. Guardiola did it, Arteta did it. These fellas do know what they're talking about. It's still a game Liverpool just simply have to win.
Yeah, absolutely. And to be honest, it plays into Liverpool's hands. Southampton love to keep the ball, and they're used to keeping the ball against poor teams, but they won't come up against a team
checking the odds
really against
live.
Quite short. They want to come up against a team with the pressing style of Liverpool. You know, they can give problems to teams. They go 1-0 up at Arsenal. They play Man City really, really closely, you know, and they run them quite closely.
They've had lines a couple of times as well.
They've had lines, you know, you look at the expected, sort of the underlying metrics and all of that, but fundamentally they are a really, really good championship team playing in what is now a Premier League dogfight. So the problem is with this is that I think it's always really interesting. This would be hard if it was an FA Cup game and they were in the Championship, in my opinion, because there'll be a little bit more unknown about them. What can you learn when they're playing against Derby County? But because the staff and the analysts, etc., have had an opportunity to see them against Arsenal, see them against Man City, see them against decent football teams, I think I don't want to sort of get ahead of ourselves, but I could just see a world where Southampton's got two options. They can either, the reason they keep the ball is because they don't back themselves to defend well enough against good teams. So they can either keep the ball, get pressed to death, and ultimately probably get outdone there, or they can give Liverpool the ball, which is what Arne would like Liverpool to have, I'm sure, and Liverpool will find a way past them, surely. It's just about finishing your chances when you create them. So I don't see which way Southampton turn here, basically.
With them, Amelia, I think with Southampton in this sort of realm they've found themselves in, they haven't sacked him, and there was some talk that they might sack him during this international window. They haven't. So as far as I'm concerned now, it would be mad, for instance, to go through this Liverpool game, and then sack him. So he's in. It feels to me like he's in. They're committing to it and they're moving forward with it. But you therefore have to cop for the inevitable reality from time to time. If you're going to try and play pure football, you're going to come up against a team that's got better footballers. And you can be clever, but you're still going to find yourself, and it's still the same in all sports at all levels. If you play a certain way, and the opposition also like to play that way, if they've literally got better technicians, fitter technicians, they're likely to find a way through.
Yeah, and I think that is probably why when people who very much know what they're talking about talk about them, they do it with that level of respect, because it's not that anyone's looking at it going, oh, easy fixture, and we all know what a foregone conclusion is here. But also, you can go into it with a degree of confidence in terms of what's coming after this. I'm very glad this is the first game, and that it's the one where we might be beginning the logistical process of bringing people back to fitness. Like, this is an excellent first one for that. And I think, Klopp always did it really, really well, especially when he talk about the likes of Brighton. And I know it's not comparing like for like, but I think it's always better to be the classy guy, putting a lot of respect on the name of a squad that you fundamentally know you are better than. And yeah, you're right that we've been able to see more of them, and I would be much more concerned if it wasn't a Premier League game.
I think what... Oh, sorry, go on.
No, I sometimes think this new breed of manager, Russell Martin's so typical of it, they're almost like a sort of central casting kind of guy. They're all quite handsome, aren't they? Who's the Luton guy?
Rob Edwards.
Lovely guy.
I mean, they played a different type of football.
But they've all got to have their quintessential, their esoteric style of football, haven't they? They've all got to put that back the house on. That they've discovered this unique thing. Whether you're a De Zerbi, a Russell Martin, a Postecoglou, the fella at Luton who we just said, Rob, whose name I've forgotten within seconds. They've all got.
I can't believe dispute that you forget handsome men, but go on.
He's such a dish.
I know. They've almost got to do that. It's the modern vogue. If you go back, I don't know, 25 years. Okay, there's the odd maverick who come who be identified by the football. They all want to go, I am this uncompromising thing. And if you win 4 on the bounce, you go, oh, he's discovered it. He's got the secret, the new music, the new style, the new way. He's got it. And it is a little bit of Emperor's New Clothes bullshit with these fellas, quite frankly. They are bottom of the league. The bookies have got us at 82%. No room for complacency, no easy games at this level, Jeff, etc., etc. But we've got to take care of business. The only reason they might get something off us is because of the international break.
And who they've got.
Just pin drops comments to the dressing room wall. But go on, Amelia.
No, I think that you can be as respectful as you like in saying like the way that they play and the quality of what they're doing isn't reflected in the number of points. But at the end of the day, they write the name on the trophy of the team that's got the most points. So it just we can say what they're doing is admirable. But at the same time, I'll take whatever odds you've been given.
So the international break is the X factor. It takes us all back into a kind of quasi pre-season where anything's possible, where they might just have trained better this week than us because we haven't.
Yeah.
So the way I was I'm thinking about what McKenna did when we played Ipswich on the first day. There's a real element there. It's less about us, less about us because and the travel, etc. Because look, they'll have had players on international break as well. Russell Martin spent the last 2 weeks. I'm not saying he would have just focused on this game and this game alone, but when we turned up against Ipswich, it felt very much like Ipswich had planned for that first Liverpool game. And the first half, until we really figured them out and we were patient and we did a really good job second half, they had I was surprised how Ipswich played on that first day. Yeah. That wasn't really how they played in the Championship. It was very much trying to exploit our fullback situation, etc., etc. I think that, as you say, I don't think it's on our side. It's more, has Russell Martin got a set piece up his sleeve? Has Russell Martin analysed the pattern of play that might actually sort of catch scold early? If we can just figure that out in game, which I think we're really good at doing this season, we'll be fine.
Well, Ipswich is instructive. I wonder what happens that day if they get their first half goal that nobody would have begrudged them, and then suddenly. Because our mentality is that's a win, but if you're losing, suddenly you've got to equalise, you've got to get back into it. It's a whole different challenge.
Which we prove what we can do, by the way.
We prove what we can do, but it's
for first day. Yeah.
You're sitting there. I mean, it's been like every time after these international breaks, there's a challenge.
Which of the South Americans are you picking?
I think I'm picking Darwin Núñez.
Nunez.
Diaz to come off the bench, Gakpo left. That means that by your rule of elimination, Shimikas plays left
which
back.
I'm not sure about, but maybe you give Robertson and Diaz the Real Madrid's Man City double.
The double header.
Yeah, the double header there. I think also there's a way where Diaz plays up front against Real Madrid.
Oof, I love that.
And then you're looking at there for Szoboszlai, Jones and Gravenberch.
Yeah.
Bradley. Konate,
Van Dijk. I think Konate, what we've learned this season more than anything, Konate needs to play games we don't bring him in and out.
And everybody wants Kelleher for Southampton.
No, you can't not. I don't think you're allowed to not.
The manager said as well.
He's not ready.
Yeah. If Alisson was fit, I'd say Alisson. I'd like him to have Southampton to build up to the next.
You're going. I'm going to come to you last. Will Liverpool be clear? And by that I mean 2 goals clear when the injury time board goes up.
Oh, yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay, that's a level of confidence which is not borne out by the facts this season. Go on. Yeah?
Yeah, why not?
I think it's going to be a bit nervy in the ground.
I think we 1-0.
1-0.
You think we 1-0?
Liverpool will win 1-0, but I think it will be nervy.
Be nervy?
Yeah, I think it'll be nervy.
Be prepared for it to be nervy. It's all right for it to be nervy. These are good teams. These are good players. And all you're seeing up and down the country is that's the case. And away wins are hard as well. Our rivals are at home. Both of them are at home. We're away. Yes, we've got the most. We've got the most
We've got our cagoules on.
Well, we're
ready.
There's a song about it apparently when you walk through one.
Yes, indeed. That's the way in which it'll go. It's been Storm Frankie. It's been Erdinger. It's been St Peter's Tavern. See you later on.